Well, it's time now to turn our attention to the international newspapers. For that, we're joined by Emily Boyle, who has been going through them for us. Emily, we're going to start here in France. A lot of reactions there to the latest head of the French government.
Yeah, most papers reacting to their new prime minister. Let's start with a look at the more right papers from the right of the spectrum here with the Aujourd'hui en France. They're celebrating the appointment of a negotiator this morning. The paper says it's a, quote, small vengeance for Macron's favourite. Le Cornu was snubbed for the job last time. Meanwhile, in L'Opinion, also a front page, unsurprisingly, Le Cornu has been parachuted into Matignon. The paper says that the new PM is so close to Macron that he will not be able to draw criticisms away from the president. This cartoon here shows Macron and Le Cornu casting the same shadow, that of the president. For Le Figaro, here, it's a mission with high risks for Le Cornu, but the paper praises the choice of a leader who ticks a few boxes. He's not likely to run for president. He's, quote, not from the technocratic morgue and doesn't suffer from the arrogance which hurt Macronism in the first place. The paper says that Le Cornu is charming and crafty and will be able to play a half on either side, but always will end up on the winning team. Now, on the left of the political spectrum, they're also going with sporty metaphors. Libération here talking about Macron on the defence and adds that on ne change pas une équipe qui perd, you don't change a losing team. The paper says that by naming Le Cornu as PM, Macron has confirmed that he is incapable of looking to his left, regardless of everything happening around him. Now, L'Humanité here is headlining with Le Cornu on a tinderbox, also referencing the 10th of September Bloquons, tout movement, block everything on their front page there. It says that the outrageous nomination of Le Cornu as Prime Minister is another right-wing escalation and will be oil on the flames of today's strikes.
And already, indeed, Emily, France bracing for a day of disruption and protest. What are the papers saying about that?
Yeah, the French press is in overtime this morning. Let's look again at Aujourd'hui en France. They have this article here discussing the strikes, a big blur around the strike movement. It talks about the uncertainty surrounding the event. It says that although calls for a general strike have been getting louder on social media, it's difficult to tell just what today will look like. And confusion is something that's coming back a lot in the French press today. La Croix has this article today. It talks about the unknowns of a diverse movement. The article looks at the origins of the movement or line from what it calls a nebulous group, which has since spread to mainstream politics, most notably the left side of it. Le Monde also has this article here today. It's a column by a historian. He says that the aim of September 10th is not to topple capitalism, but to make it less cruel. He looks at how the movement became so popular online. According to him, he puts it down to a difficult financial situation and a fear of the future.
Okay, well, from France to Nepal, protests on the streets there. In fact, the army has been brought in. The demonstrations sparked by anger over corruption within the ranks of the government. What kind of coverage is that getting, Emily?
Well, let's start with Rising Nepal here. It's a English language government-affiliated newspaper. Its front page here completely dedicated to the story with a picture of the parliament on fire. The paper says that the whole country descended into flames after at least 19 people were killed during anti-corruption protests on Tuesday. Multiple official buildings were set alight. Now, interestingly, when I went to look for other media from Nepal, a lot of the sites were down, something which could be explained with this article in the Indian paper, The Economic Times. Nepal's Kantiput TV headquarters set on fire. The headquarters are also the offices of a number of publications, including Kantipur and the Kathmandu Post, which explains why they are currently down online. Staying in India with the Times of India here, looking at the root causes of the protests. It says that they were caused by years of frustration with elitism, nepotism and joblessness. It says that the social media ban came after a number of other incidents that were already causing mass discontent, including, according to this article, a video of a government car hitting an 11-year-old child last week. Now, going a bit further afield, the New York Times is also looking at the forces behind the Gen Z protests. Protesters declared themselves Gen Z, a voice for Gen Z, as they struggle to find jobs in the region and are forced to move to neighbouring countries. According to this article, 26% of the country's economy in 2024 came from money which young Nepalis abroad send back home. The ban, which is no longer in place, isolated families from, quote, faraway breadwinners, according to this article, lighting the fuse for a protest which grew into a much larger movement against corruption, inequality and unemployment.
Indeed, and we did see the Prime Minister resign, but from the unrest there, Emily, you have some good news for us to finish.
Exactly. Some good news to keep us afloat in The Guardian here. A little bit of joy in this article from Rhode Island. Conservationists are building tiny rafts to save endangered saltmarsh sparrows from extinction. Faced with rising sea levels, many sparrow eggs, which are laid on the ground, end up drowning. So a team of volunteers use coffee filters and foam pads. I have a photo of them here to build little boats for the nests to sit on. There's also a photo of them actually putting one of the nests in one of the little boats here. The foam allows it to float and rise and go down with the sea levels and the tides, allowing them to survive and grow into very healthy adult sparrows.
A lovely story of individual action. Emily Boyle, thanks a lot for that look at the international papers. Time for us to take a very quick break now. Back in just a few minutes.